Hello once again, race fans, and welcome to another exciting Formula Rock highlight video. It's round number 11 of our 6th season, the second annual Jeff Sumter Memorial 200. Jeff, one of Rock Racing's own, ran under the name Smokins One when he raced with us, and his wife, Lady, who races in Formula Rock, and their son. Went through a lot of ideas trying to figure out what the best idea would be to memorialize Jeff, and I think what it comes down to is, as a believer in life after death, I'm not the most religious guy, but as a believer in life after death, I never thought it's bad for that person that passes away. I mean, it's got to be a lot better than what we're dealing with here on this planet. What makes death so awful for all of us left behind is that we want that person in our lives. I think we know that as long as we're here on this planet, we'll never see that person again. So, but I think it's important to remember that as long as we keep a person who's passed away alive in our hearts and in our minds, they're not really gone. So in our own small way here at Formula Rock, that's what we're attempting to do, is have this memorial event every year that we race, and to help keep Jeff alive. So that's what this is all about. And I want to thank everybody that came out and raced, and let's take a look at those highlight racing action. Thanks, folks. All right, race fans, we're getting ready to go green flag racing at Daytona on August 17th, 2006. The video was by, well, it's me. They're always by me. I don't know why I put that on there. Guess what? If there's a video, it's by me, okay? Our pole sitter for this event, one of our rookies, number 58, Mark B, brings us down with a screaming lap of 2:14.756. Not in the draft. That's a fast lap. Mark B brings us down for the green flag for 50 laps of exciting racing action here at Daytona, heading through the tri-oval towards turn 1 for the first time. And this would be Lady, whose husband we are running this race for in the girl-powered sponsored ride. She's about 8th place as we get going. Randy, our 3 showing respect, is just going to blow right by. All right, he's down low. I want to show respect. I'm out of here. We're racing. I don't know what happened to a Scuba One. He showed up in a need sponsorship ride, number 100. I don't know if he lost his sponsorship. What's going on? We'll have to talk to a Scuba One, but he's in this rent-a-ride. Also, first time on the track in over a year in the number 31 Baskin Robbins ride is going to be our own Tom Craighead, who used to run. Oh, we've got an accident. Hang on, let's take a look at that. Looks like Taz Jr. 8 is going to warp right here, and when he reappears, he's going to get into Ged's number 04, or just Ged's 04. Big accident. Taz Jr. 8 will continue, but he's got damage. Our brand new driver, Ged's 04, is going to do a complete back over flip, and then I don't know how many side over sides, but it's a bunch. And in his first event in Formula Rock, Ged's 04 is out in just one lap. And oh, hey, welcome to Formula Rock, by the way. All right, going back to green flag racing after cleaning up that mess is still our pole sitter, Mark B, in the number 58 car. We're back to green flag racing. We're on board now with Tom Craighead, who the artist formerly known as Eager Beaver, formerly known as Mofo Clown. Back in a Formula Rock race after a long time off, showing support for Lady in the Baskin Robbins ride. We are racing. Right behind him, we've got MPRL Snake Oil in the AJ Foyt ride. And we've clocked a lap. No accidents. Green flag racing. Life is good, people. We are racing. Also, back in action after several weeks in the hospital. IGGR Small Fries was very sick. Has made it back to health on the track. His first event back. Number 327 Camaro guy had a shot at winning last week in the first of 2 events at our 2 weeks of Daytona. Number 327 Camaro guy in the Flame Ride. Battling it out here with number 68 Johnny Kaz on the track. A driver who doesn't really like ovals, but he's doing it. Out front, number 15 DVD leading a lap here at Daytona. And I'm kind of having trouble figuring out what I'm going to say. Sorry about that. I'm stumbling over my own words. I'm reining it in, getting it back together as Armalat goes by in the Z-Max ride. Well, he's trying to go by. Let's put it that way. He's got Randy R3 right behind him. As the field comes through the back straight, we got a bundle of cars running together. But it's Armalat with the lead as Lady tucks in down low. That's a big group of cars battling heavy drafting here at Daytona. And these OWR cars have no trouble running nose to tail. But your leader, number 45 Armalat, in the early stages of this event, picking up the 5 bonus points, our point leader. Randy R3, though, last season's winner of the inaugural Jeff Sumter Memorial 200. Randy R3 goes low with Lady and Mad Dog 38 pushing him through to take over the top spot. You're on board now with IGGR Small Fries. Good battle side by side with DBD, following right behind Mad Dog as they're trying to get by Armalat as well. Coming into the tri-oval, it's cars drafting side by side. Good racing action out here on the track. Wait a minute, we've got huge contact on the track. We've got cars everywhere. Mad Dog 38 goes to the bottom. Oh, and loses his motor. He'll be out of the race. We're going to take some time looking at this wreck. Looks like Mad Dog and Armalat get together. Big accident for Armalat. He's into IGGR small fries. He's trying to get it woed up. As he gets it stopped, he's trying to get going again. He's going to go right in front of Tom Craighead, right there. We'll see more of that in a minute, but let's take a look at some other parts of this accident. You're looking at IGGR small fries, no place to go. Wreck happens right in front of him. He tries to get away from it. He's going to have a massive accident right here. Huge crash for small fries. Good thing he got out of the hospital after being sick, so he can go right back to the hospital after getting hurt in this wreck. He's out of the race. DBD, the wreck happens right in front of him. He's on the brakes trying to avoid it, but it comes right across into him. Big wheelie for DBD, lands on the crash wall. He's going to have some damage, but he will be able to continue. Finally, let's look at Tom Craighead, who's back in the race. He's being wise. He's going low. He's swerving out of the way. He's missing the entire accident. And at the last possible minute, Armalat's going to come off the wall right in front of him, and it's a big accident for Tom Craighead, which will damage his car heavily. He will be able to limp that Baskin-Robbins ride back to the pits, but it's all over. Just a few laps for our buddy Tom Craighead. Enjoyed having you in the race, my friend. Nice seeing you back out on the racetrack. Hope to see you again, but he's out of this one. All right, after cleaning up that mess, and that will take a while, we're going to give you this fine look at the restart, which is so far away you can't even see it. But it's Tucson 4 with the lead out there somewhere. Trust me, it's happening. You just can't see it. All right, green flag's out. Tucson 4 brings him across, and he is leading the Jeff Sumter Memorial 200. There he goes with the lead at this race. In second spot, we haven't seen him in this brand new ride of his. That's 00 RPM in the Rock Racing Beer Shack sponsored ride. Car painted by, of course, R3 Body and Paint, and it's running second in the early stages. Here we see a Scuba 1 making a dive pass into second in that Help Me, I Need Sponsors ride. Normally number 5. In this race, he's number 100. Please, people, can't we help a Scuba? He needs a sponsor. Come on, step up to the plate, people. Help him out. All right, number 58. Mark B. still running in the top group. Our pole sitter at the beginning had to go all the way to the back after a penalty. I don't know what it was for, but he moving his way back up. Johnny Kaz says he doesn't like ovals, as I mentioned earlier, but he's still running in the top group as NPRL Snake Oil and now Double D. Ooh, Double D down on the bottom. Good thing he's running high. That could have been ugly. All right, the field coming through the back straight. Haven't seen him yet. Been running a quiet event. Number 60, Dixie Dan, just kind of bopping along, watching the trees, and staying out of trouble. That's probably a smart move. Out front now. See what I mean? The guy needs a sponsor. He's leading the race. It's a Scuba 1 out front. Lady dives underneath. Looks like she's trying to move into, and there she goes. Underneath Tucson 4, underneath Randy R3. She's going to go from 4th to 2nd in about 15 seconds. Nice move by Lady in the Girl Power sponsored ride. Well, and there we are. A Scuba 1 out front. Lady 2nd. Looks like RPM 3rd. Mark B 4th. And I lose track of who's back there after that. MPRL Snake Oil trying to go low under Randy R3. Don't know if he's going to get that worked out or not, but he's definitely underneath Tucson 4 with Double D helping him through. Looks like Randy R3 will hold on to his spot, but MPRL Snake Oil is side by side with Tucson 4. But let's take a look at your leader. Again, we're sending out pleads. Help this man. The man needs a sponsor, okay? Okay, that joke's pretty much run into the ground. All right, a Scuba 1 was leading. Looks like RPM diving low underneath him in that Rock Racing Beer Shack sponsored ride. And that will be RPM out front at the Jeff Sumter Memorial 200 in that brand new ride he's got. Brand new sponsorship, making the most of it on the track. And here we have, not only is he leading, but he will also set the fastest lap of the event with a 223 mile. Oh, we've got an accident behind him. I didn't get that speed out at all, did I? It looks like Lady and Scuba 1, a little tap. Ooh, big accident. Ooh, man, they are up into the crash wall hard. I don't know how much damage is Scuba 1. I don't think he got that much damage out of that crash. Let's take a look at that again. Just a slight tap. Ooh, Lady's up into the wall. Big wheelie for her. She spins to a stop. Don't know how much damage she had. Boy, I am just stumbling all over my words today. Sorry about that. Tucson 4, heavy into the crash wall. He will skid it to a stop here in a second. He's trying to get going and not lose too many positions, but as he goes across the track, he's going to be right in front of Camaro guy 327 and Lady. More big action. That's going to blow Tucson 4's motor, and he's going to be out of the event right here. Lady will also pick up more damage. This is Camaro guy 327 trying to avoid the cars. Oh, he's going to pick up a bunch of damage off of that as well. Bunch of cleanup going on, and after we get that all sorted out, it's Mark B back out front. As I said earlier, he'd gone all the way to the back because of needed a penalty for something in the pits, but he's worked his way back to the front. We're green flag racing. Mark B back up front. Randy R3 second, MPRL Snake Oil third, DVD fourth. Looks like Johnny Kaz fifth. As we are back under green flag racing, Randy R3 trying to staying in Mark B's draft. DVD picked up a little damage from that crash early on, but he's discovered he can stay in the draft. Probably can't leave, but as long as he's behind somebody, he can stay with them in the draft. Johnny Kaz picked up some damage. A car landed on top of him. He's having the same problem as DVD. As long as he's got guys drafting with him, he can stay with them, but running by himself or out of the draft, he's just going to fall behind. So he's doing the best he can to stay in other people's draft. Dixie Dan, on the other hand, has no damage and is working his way through the field. Started off quietly and slow at the beginning, but now he's working his way up through the field by the mid-distance of this event. Out front, Randy R3. Got DVD going with him. Looks like a Scuba 1 as well. Randy R3 takes the lead from Mark B on the racetrack. What else can I say? That's about it. As I said before, Johnny Kaz has some damage, but he's running in the draft and staying with the lead pack. As long as he stays with them, he will continue to be competitive. Just don't lose the draft, man. That's all I'm saying. All right, then. A Scuba 1 in third. It looks like fourth spot at this point. No, make that fifth. I have no idea. No, it's fourth. I was right before. I don't know what I'm talking about. Mark B wants to be leading this event. Going to dive under DVD right behind Randy R3. We are getting down to, 10 laps from green flag pit stops if we can stay green. Drivers are going to have to use their heads and make clean green pit stops. Mark B back out front. Doesn't like running second. But then a few laps later, Randy R3 with help from a Scuba 1. He'll be back out front again. And in fact, Randy R3, I believe, leads the second most laps in this race. Not that that means anything. So we'll take a look at Randy R3 leading, as we try to do with everybody out front. I know I've missed a couple of them in this replay. It's been a busy week. What can I tell you? So we're doing the best we can. DVD, who led early, has some damage, but we've talked about that. Running in the draft, staying in the top 2 or 3. Looking pretty good considering he's got body damage, yet he's still able to run right in there with the lead pack. Now here's something you just don't see very often. This is our point leader, Armalet, heavy damage, and the lead pack is going to go by him like he's painted on a fence. It's going to be a tough, long day for Armalet. He will eventually finish 11th in what was a disappointing event for him. We're looking at Dixie Dan. Well, we're looking at the whole field, but Dixie Dan, as we said, started off this race just running slow. He is now running in the top 5, going low underneath Mark B. That will put him into 4th place. Farther back, trying to get something going, Taz Jr. 8 and Lady, now both pretty heavily damaged, just trying to run it. Whoa, heavy warp for Taz Jr. 8. But anyway, as I said, these two drivers just running together, trying to get something going. In 4th spot, as we said, that brand new paint job and brand new sponsor for RPM, the 00 Rock Racing Beer Shack sponsored ride, running with his good friend DVD, going low underneath the Scuba 1, taking over 2nd and 3rd spot. A lap or 2 later, RPM, feeling stout at this racetrack, takes that brand new sponsorship into the lead. As we are coming down to green flag stops, RPM with the lead. A whole bunch of drivers are going to pit together. A Scuba 1, Johnny Kaz, Randy R3, MPRL Snake Oil, and Double D all pit together as they run out of fuel under green flag. A lap later, all by himself, Mark B pits. That's a risky move without a drafting partner. This is going to elevate Dixie Dan right into 2nd place behind your leader, RPM. These drivers are on a different pit strategy. We'll see if it works out for them. And about a lap later, running towards the back early, as I said, Dixie Dan playing it cool, being quiet, but is going to be leading the Jeff Sumter Memorial 200, picking up that 5 bonus points. That's the thing about Dixie Dan. You just sometimes forget he's there, and then all of a sudden you look up and he's leading the race. So there you go for Dixie Dan. Randy R3 is going to go by DVD, and these two drivers are going to hook up, working their way towards the front, hoping that drafting is going to get them in the lead after all the pit stops have cycled through. What they don't realize is RPM and Dixie Dan, who makes an incredible out-braking maneuver into the pits, are on a completely different pit strategy and will have to pick up much less fuel, and probably didn't even pick up tires, but they're going to come back out of the pits with the lead because they had so much shorter pit stops. However, third and fourth running, Scuba 1 and Mark B are going to draft up behind Dixie Dan in about 2 laps and take over that position. Dixie Dan will slot in right behind them, and now we got a 3-car draft trying to catch RPM, who's out front a couple of seconds up ahead of them. Meanwhile, Randy R3 and DVD draft up and catch NPRL Snako, who is running 5th by himself. These 3 drivers are going to hook up together and try to draft towards the front in an effort to run down the leaders with about 20 laps to go as they catch the lap car of Taz Jr. 8. Meanwhile, Lady's going to go by the damaged car of Camaro Guy 327 farther back in the field, picking up whatever positions you can. You're on board now with the Scuba 1. This is the 3-car draft in second place. That's RPM up ahead. They are quickly reeling him in, and within a couple of laps, RPM is going to have his mirrors completely full of second, third, and fourth. And now we've got a battle for the race win. This will help these 4 drivers, however, because the 3-car draft of Randy R3, BBD, and NPRL Snako have no chance to catch that 4-car draft up front. All these guys can do is run nose to tail, draft as best they can, and hope those 4 guys make a mistake and there's an accident bringing out the yellow. That's all these guys have, because 3 cars are not going to catch 4 cars drafting. So there you go. That sets the stage as we are getting ready to run out of laps. The Scuba 1 in the lead with only a couple of laps, 4 or 5 laps left. Mark B is going to make a risky move right here, going to the outside. He's got 3 cars helping him. Dixie Dan and RPM. Hard pass to make at Daytona. The bottom is generally the place to stay to hold the lead, but Mark B is getting enough help from the other drivers that he's going to make an outside pass with just a couple of laps to go, drive down to the bottom, and take over the lead. So with the laps winding out, here's your top 5 finishers. Randy R3 couldn't help with the 3-car draft, couldn't do anything else but hold on, take 5th place in the race he won last season. Coming home fourth, number 60, Dixie Dan in that lead group. Great run for Dixie Dan, bags 4th place when the laps run out. 3rd place, led a bunch. Number 00, RPM, doing everything he can to get by a Scuba 1 for 2nd, but it isn't going to happen. He will have to settle for 3rd right there. Running 2nd in an accident, has some damage, and in a rent-a-car. No sponsorship, as we said before. A Scuba 1 will hang on and take 2nd place in the 2nd annual Jeff Sumter Memorial 200. Taking the victory from pole position, one of our rookies, number 58, Mark B, drives an incredible race. At one point at the back of the pack, worked his way back up, drove a great race, not involved in any accidents. Mark B, the victor at the 2nd annual Jeff Sumter Memorial 200. Here's your final race results as we watch the end of the race from a different angle. Want to thank every driver for showing up for this event as we paid tribute to Smokins 1, or Jeff Sumter. Next week, we're off to Atlanta JCR. It's going to be a great race. That track is really fast. Thanks for racing, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?